the thing we talked about. Yeah, I want it taken care of. Now, I don't care. I don't care if it's Bayonne or the Meadowlands. But get this, I want it dug deep. You got that? Dug deep. All right, later. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Professionals. Today, we are talking Gangsta. We're going to be talking about gangster movies and crime films. And we got some great gangsters to come into this show with us. Let's say hello to Aaron Lefty Lepresti.
What's up, crackers? It's good to see you again.
Aaron, it's good to see you. Did you get that thing done?
I got it taken care of. You know you can count on me, crackers.
And we got Dandy Andy, the hitman.
Who you calling a cracker? Hey, now, listen to me, yo. I will take you out to the woodshed. I got the baseball bats. I got the duct tape. Don't make me pull it out on you guys.
You bring the plastic? You need the plastic.
I got the plastic sheeting. Yeah. I will not make a mess in that living room of yours with that baby grand back there.
And here comes Big Danny Boom Boom Fragga.
We found the truck. Boom. It has a bunch of three-piece suits in it. It's just sitting there. The truck was just sitting there. They're nice. They're nice. You take your girl out, nobody knows.
Stuff fell out of the back of the truck. I get it. I know what you're saying.
Danny's been around the block. He knows his way around.
I know my way around the stereo equipment. You got to get the good stereo
fidelity.
Equipment.
It's high fidelity.
High fidelity.
So here's what we got on tap tonight, folks, in the chat room. We're going to be talking about gangster and crime films. Now, it sounds simple, but here's the thing. A movie like Outland is a science fiction film, but it's all about a crime. It's about the drugs. And so that's a crime film. So there's no really limitation on what is going to be talked about tonight, other than the main plot points have to involve a crime. And so each of us are going to come up with 3 of our favorites, and I'm sure there's many, many more. The only caveat is none of these movies can be a Godfather film or Goodfellas. Okay.
How about let's throw Scarface in there too, because that's
all right.
cliche.
We'll throw Scarface in, unless one of you guys have Scarface.
Sorry if I did.
I do enjoy that movie, but that is not on my list.
Okay.
Yeah. I like the mound of coke that he throws his face down into, and then he comes out and just starts peppering everybody.
I like how he introduces his friends. He says, "Say hello to them."
Say hello to my little friend.
His little friends. Oh wait, Stat Zero has already hit one that's really great, which I forgot about. Miller's Crossing.
That's a good one.
Oh yeah, that's a great one. Okay, Aaron, you are up first. Give us one and tell us why you like it so much.
All right. Well, I was a little now. Graham and I know that we talked a little bit in the green room, if we like to call it, I guess, right before the show started, that we're sharing one of the same movies. So I'm letting him have it since he's the host, and because I have some others. But I had to go Hitchcock. How could I not go Hitchcock? And I was a little confused at first because I thought, well, are we doing a gangsta film? Like, well, I won't drop a name yet because I may still, but. Or are we just doing any sort of crime film? And Graham was like, no, hey, if it's a crime in it, it counts. Yeah. So I'm going to go with one of my top 5 films of all time with Rear Window, where we actually
shoot. I thought you were going to say Rope. I thought you were going to say Rope.
Because it's going on. And I know we probably, everybody's talked about this film countless times, but Hitchcock was such a genius that entire film takes place in Jimmy Stewart's apartment. We never leave that apartment, and yet you are on the freaking edge of your seat that whole film. It's just so masterfully done. And this whole idea of, his sort of voyeuristic, you begin to wonder, how good of a guy is Jimmy Stewart really? How good of a guy is that character really? And one scene that always comes to mind is when Grace Kelly goes over to her to get the wedding ring, right? And he's watching with his camera, through his camera lens. And Raymond Burr comes home early and catches her in the act of being in his apartment, right? He grabs Grace Kelly, throws her down on the couch, turns off the lights. You know he's going to kill her. Jimmy Stewart is sitting right across the way watching this happen, and his maid's right beside him, and he's going, I don't know what to do. What do I do? What do I do? And I'm like, you idiot, your girlfriend is about to be murdered. Yell from across the way, don't do it, or yell something. But he doesn't, because he doesn't want to give himself away. So is he a coward? Is he, was he just caught up in the moment and didn't know what to do? I mean, that to me was such a telling scene about his character, that they lucked out because the police got called and because of the noise and saved her. But what if they hadn't? Was he going to sit there and watch Grace Kelly get killed instead of yelling out from his apartment window that he's watching everything? Because that would have stopped Raymond Burr, right?
It would have stopped the movie too.
Yeah, it would have stopped the movie. And
well, of course, but it speaks about the character, too. Yeah. That didn't go unnoticed by Hitchcock. He's aware of what he's doing, and I just think that Jimmy Stewart, especially playing sort of a character of questionable morality, is very interesting. And I just absolutely love the movie. So that's my first pick.
Okay, that's an excellent pick. Excellent. Andy, you're up.
Yeah, that was a lot more in depth than I will probably ever go. Well, no, it just is because my recall for things is awful. So like titles is one thing. Like, when Graham threw this out, movie titles came in mind. But when it comes to like scenes and stuff, unless I rewatch it that morning, forget it. But anyhow, I'm going back.
You didn't do your homework is what you're telling us.
No, I did. I actually had stuff pulled up on my phone. Where'd he go? What? Actually, before I ask, Graham, where are you? If I may ask.
It's a green screen.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow, that looks. That is one of your best.
It's consistent. It's consistent lighting of the background. That's what does it.
That's what I was going to say. It's not totally like you're outside. That is a fantastic.
This is my gangster pad.
It's too bad you don't have a dead body back there. That would have been good if you had a dead body wrapped in plastic.
Right?
Yeah, that is awesome. I am actually in Syracuse, New York, so this is not a green screen. And I'm actually surrounded by a bunch of Goombas. Oop, nobody take that personally. My wife is 50% Italian, and it looks like my niece is going to sit down up and, of course, show her face. Oh, and now I've got the little kids coming around.
Everybody wants their 15 minutes.
Everybody. Here's her young one, right here, and then my sister-in-law. Oh, good Lord! Well, their last name is Pacciano. Well, was. Yeah, I told you, man. I'm surrounded. So anyhow, I'm going back. When it comes to movies like this, genres like this, I like realistic stories because it's you learn something. So I'm going 1967, Bonnie and Clyde. Love that movie. Warren Beatty, was awesome in it. Bonnie and Clyde was one of those things up until I saw that movie that I'm like, oh yeah, Bonnie and Clyde. They went around, robbed some banks, whatever. I didn't really know much. And that's what got me to watch that movie, was to learn more about them. And I know there's been another one since then. I can't remember what year. It was in the past 20 years, I think. But
Chinatown?
What's that?
Chinatown?
Wasn't there? No, there was another Bonnie and Clyde movie.
I thought. Yeah.
After that one. Anyhow, so I just love Warren Beatty, especially from that time period, in the 60s and stuff. He just played all the actors back then, it was a different type of acting, and then, obviously the end scene when they finally get caught and just that car is just riddled with bullets and stuff. I just, it's one of my favorites. Exactly. Well, yeah, you got to love that acting. How do you get shot like this? So
I'd like to put that's music, like 60s shag music or something.
That's right. Exactly. Exactly. So that's my first one.
Bonnie and Clyde, another good one. Boom, boom, fragga.
I reckon I'm gonna go with a tricky picture called Snatch.
Oh, I knew it. I was going to do Snatch.
By Guy Ritchie.
I'm so glad I didn't take that one.
What a wonderful movie.
I couldn't understand that movie.
Oh, I
couldn't understand
my mama on a periwinkle blue caravan. She won a caravan. You like Dax? What? Dax. Oh yeah, I like Dax. Yeah. No, I love that movie, man. I love how everything ties together. The characters are real characters. You feel sick for I mean, I don't want to give out plot points if nobody's seen it, but like you feel sick at certain times. You're like, oh my God, I can't believe they're this.
I think if the movie's that old, you
yeah,
can give because it's like
okay.
that's another niece.
When
I mean, if
Brad
it's
Pitt,
10 years old or more,
okay,
you can give out stuff.
You're right.
Spoilers are allowed.
The Germans. Yeah. When Brad Pitt beats up their big boxer, and the one dude standing there like, I'm gonna fucking die, and those two guys are just arguing at each other, and they're playing that fucking beautiful music. I go, oh my gosh, I feel ill, you know. And Bricktop, if that guy's such an alpha, you know, it's a gorgeously done movie. Guy Ritchie's never done anything as good since, of course, but what a wonderful movie! Great cast, great story, great editing. The way they tie everything together, great lines. That script is fantastic. But the characters, I mean, they're right out of comic books. They're super archetypical, but they feel real.
Brother, fist bump it.
You know,
there you go.
Like I mean, Benicio del Toro's character, for instance. You know, it's like he's this expert, but he's got a gambling problem. You know, and just all of the characters are great. So Snatch.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to go back a few years, which probably
you can't go farther than me. Actually, you probably will. See you later.
Go back to 1949, John Farrow film called His Kind of Woman. You guys ever hear of this movie?
No, I haven't.
It stars Robert Mitchum and Vincent Price and Jane Russell. And this is the most gonzo crime film you're ever going to see. Raymond Burr
wasn't in that picture, was he?
What's that? No, he wasn't in that picture. No. Raymond Burr is a Al Capone type gangster who has been excommunicated out of the United States, and he can't get back in. He's stuck in Italy, so he wants to get back into the United States. So he hires this Nazi plastic surgeon who is going to lift the face off of somebody and graft it onto him.
Like Face Off before Face Off.
Yeah. This is 1949. This is some crazy shit.
Yeah.
So they find this drifter who's Robert Mitchum, and they send him to this resort island off of Mexico, because that's where Raymond Burr's boat is offshore. And they're going to he doesn't know why he's going there. He's thinking he's got a job that they're going to give him, and they're paying him a lot of money for, but they're going to get him on this boat. They're going to kill him, and they're going to take his face and graft it onto Raymond Burr.
I'm sure this wasn't a Rip Kirby storyline.
No, that's not where it gets crazy. But the fun part of this, because there's so much humor in it, is Vincent Price steals this movie because he is a Errol Flynn actor. He plays these swashbuckling characters in movies, and he can't stand his life. He's divorcing his wife because he craves real life action, and then he gets it on this island helping Robert Mitchum, and he's shooting up gangsters and stuff. And he is absolutely hysterical. It's a great movie. So that's my pick. His Kind of Woman.
I'm gonna write that one down. I want to check that movie out. That sounds awesome.
Monster Sand agrees. He says Vincent Price is hilarious. Says the Ham B movie actor. Yeah.
You said that's 49?
I believe it's 1949.
I'm gonna have to actually
maybe 1950.
What was the title again?
His Kind of Woman.
All right, Graham, find it on YouTube. Pull the trailer up. I bet you can find the trailer.
Oh yeah.
They'll shut you down.
If I play they'll flag.
Don't want to kill the professionals, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
They will. They'll shut us down.
They'll whack us out.
Your channel's bigger than mine, but
they'll take us down. They'll take us out.
He'll take us out. He'll be wrapping us in plastic, putting us
sleeping with fishes,
like Billy Bones, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I said no Goodfellas.
All right.
Okay. All right, Aaron. Number 2.
Now, can I do a comedy?
Yeah. Anything with a crime.
This is really out there, okay? Because I have a list here of ones that I wanted to mention, and I'm kind of torn on a lot of them. But this is one of my all-time favorite movies, and I don't know, you guys may probably never even heard of it, but it's a Bob Hope movie, and it's called My Favorite Brunette.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, I've heard of it.
So here's
Ron Chaney Jr.,
yeah, and Peter Lorre.
Peter Lorre.
Okay, here's the shtick. Okay, so Bob Hope is this baby photographer, right? And his office is right next to Alan Ladd, who's this really cool private detective, right? And so Alan Ladd's in it for like 5 minutes at the beginning, right? And he's like, I'm heading out of town. He's very serious, very tough Alan Ladd, right? And he's like, I'm heading out of town, and they talk for a minute and then he leaves, right? So they have this sort of adjoining door kind of thing, right? And so, he's gone and Bob Hope is like, pretending to be the detective in the office, kind of digging it'd be so cool. And he's like this loser baby photographer. Well, then Dorothy Lamour walks in, right? The femme fatale, and hires him to do this job. And he pretends that he's, Alan Ladd. And oh my gosh, is that movie funny. And it's like Peter Lorre's one of the bad guys that's involved in it. And then Lon Chaney's like the big heavy. And it's just, the plot is just, it's just crazy. And of course I won't give away the ending, but if you ever get a chance to view this film, it's called My Favorite Brunette with Bob Hope. There's a reason Bob Hope was a #1 box office star for years. And his films are freaking hilarious. And this is no exception. I'm counting it only because there is a crime and he's investigating the crime as this pseudo private investigator. But man, I'm telling you, it's hilarious. So
It is a great movie. I love that movie.
yep, a lot of
Dorothy
fun.
Lamour.
Yep.
Excellent. Yep. Okay, Andy.
All right,
You
I'm
have
switching up. I'm going to save what I was going to say in my second one because I didn't think about comedies, and one just came to me from one of my favorite comedic actors. You'll know who it is when I say the movie. Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid.
Ah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, there you go.
I love that
Martin.
film.
Steve Martin is
Oh
fantastic.
my God.
That wild and crazy guy.
Yeah, 1982, shot in black and white. Oh my God, it's such a good movie. Carl Reiner directed it.
Yep.
Just Steve Martin playing a straight detective, but
And Rachel Ward, come on, man.
yeah, Rachel Ward. Oh yeah,
That's worth the
Oh, yeah.
price of admission right there.
yeah. So I mean, that's I never even thought about comedy. So I'm glad you brought that up because I was like, oh, I got to bounce one out. So now I got to really think about the third one since I have actually two left.
Okay.
So yeah, so there's that. So
Okay,
nice and
cool.
concise.
Boom,
I
boom.
love Steve Martin.
I'm taking the same trajectory. As soon as you said comedies, I was like, yo, one of my favorite comedy crime movies of all time was it came out in 2000. It was a Woody Allen movie called Small Time Crooks. And he plays this really shitty,
I never saw it.
he's like a bumbling crook, and he wants to drill a hole in this basement to get into the vault of this bank. So what he does is he sets up this fake business. He he leases the building, and his wife sets up this like cookie shop to like be a front so they could drill underneath and get to the bank. But her cookies are so good that there ends up being lines out the door, and they become millionaires through her cookies, and he's like super resentful because they succeeded legitimately, and he is feeling small because he didn't pull the heist, and like it's so good.
Sounds
It's so good.
That was
Small-time crooks.
There was a Edward G. Robinson
Tracy
movie.
Ullman.
Yeah, Tracy Ullman played his wife. That's the one. Yeah, and who I think was Michael Rappaport in it too, and maybe
hold on,
not.
let me see.
I saw
Hugh
like,
Grant. Hugh Grant
yes,
was in it.
so good.
Yeah,
Just
Michael Rappaport,
hilarious.
John Lovitz.
That's it. They're they're terrible crooks. They're like the worst chemistry.
I did see that.
Yeah, really good stuff.
I have not seen that. I've got to. I'm a big Woody Allen fan, but I have not seen
Yeah.
that.
Oh, it's up there. You're like, oh my God. You like the whole time. That's it. Small Time.
That's the movie
Great
poster.
I like the poster,
Great
too.
poster. Yeah. Holding the cookie.
Very
Small
cool.
Time Crooks. That's my number 2.
Okay.
That's a good one.
I'm going to go to 1970, and I got a war picture of all things. Yeah.
Mm.
Kelly's
Oh.
Hero.
Kelly's Hero.
Yes, what a great film.
Yeah.
Oh
This
my
this
God,
is
Clint,
this is a
Kelly, Don Rickles.
yeah. This is a classic heist film.
Yes.
And I oops, sorry guys. Eastwood finds who plays Kelly stumbles upon this German courier, and he tells him that there's this pile of gold in this German bank. The only problem is it's behind enemy lines, and so he gathers up a group. This kind of, and they kind of like work their way behind enemy lines specifically to blow this bank. And it's a comedy, but it's also a drama too. There's definitely some very dramatic scenes in there, especially when there's a scene where they get stuck in a minefield, and two guys are left out in the minefield because they can't get off in time before these Germans pull up, and so it's a really dramatic scene. But this movie is full of fun. Eastwood is great. Don Rickles is great. Telly Savalas kills it. I love Telly in this movie and in the Battle of the Bulge. Two war films that he was in that I think are just absolutely fantastic. So
Well, what about Carol O'Connor too? Carol
O'Connor is awesome.
It's a different role for him, if I remember correctly.
Donald Sutherland is like the stoned hippie in it, right?
Yeah. He's like this hippie. This is World War II, and we got a hippie tank guy. Oddball's his name. Yeah,
he's like the cleaner of the group.
Enough with the negative waves,
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a fun movie.
Hey, by the way, I think this could be a workaround. Somebody told me about if you play a trailer or something, go to the settings on YouTube and speed it up just to like 1 1/4. And because you speed it up, it kind of throws things off a little bit. So it works around the algorithm because it's not real time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, do that on your show.
Yeah,
and then I've played trailers on mine, but you don't understand. I've only got 400 people subscribers, so I might not get picked up anyhow.
I played like during when I was doing the westerns, and of course during 31 Days of Monsters. I'm always playing the trailers. Warner Brothers will always flag you. That's what I've learned. Yeah, if you play anything with Warner Brothers, you'll have it demonetized, but you can challenge it. And if you challenge it and say that its usage was fair usage because it was for educational and review purposes, usually they'll just let it go. They'll reinstate it. I've won most of my challenges doing that.
Well, see, I got blacked out in the middle of my live stream because I was doing my top 10 movies of all time, and I was showing, the trailers and clips from movies, and I got blacked out during my live stream. And
really?
Well, that's because you were doing a Jeffrey Toobin.
I was doing what?
Don't do a Jeffrey Toobin on your live stream. You won't get blacked out.
But what happened was when it posted later on YouTube, so you could go back and watch it. Everything's okay. They allowed it because I guess they figured out I was doing a critical review of these films, and they just let it go. But during the broadcast, I got blacked out twice. So I've had to kind of be a little bit more careful when I do that.
Okay. All right, so we're back to you, Aaron. If you want to take that movie, I've got another one.
Me?
Yeah. If you the one we talked about that we both chose, if you want to take that one, that's fine. I got another one.
Okay. I think we should do more than 3, Grant.
We can do, yeah.
Because we've got time, and I've got a list.
Okay.
So, all right. Okay. All right. I'll take the one that I was gonna. Well, see, now I didn't. Do you happen to have any visual for it?
Yeah, I have a picture, but
well, bring it up.
Okay.
Yeah. Before you say it, you want to bring the picture up? Is that it?
Of course.
Oh, okay. Maybe we'll guess it.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh.
This is Key Largo.
Yeah.
And that was the first thing when Graham brought this up, that was the very first movie I thought of. Because I was thinking, when you say gangster film, I started going, okay, I automatically went to the 40s and 50s, right? I wasn't even thinking contemporary. Mm-hmm. And this is the first movie that came to mind because it's a very unusual crime picture in that you've got these guys are kind of holed up in this hotel during a hurricane, right? And Edward G. Robinson and his gang are, they're trying to avoid the law. And, Bogart and Bacall are there, and they're just sort of innocent bystanders caught up in this whole mess. And so the whole kind of, the crime has already been committed, right? But it's like they're stuck together during this hurricane. And of course, the ending's terrific on they finally get ready to leave the island and what Bogey does to, save the day or get out of it, or whatever. But it's just, I like it because it's so different in the fact that it's really a character film, but it's very intense, because you get this feeling that, obviously, Bogart's not going to get killed, but you get this feeling that Edward G. Robinson could, you could die at any second if you're in that situation, right? What has he got to lose? He could kill you if you piss him off, but it's like Bogart kept pushing him a little bit, then back off, and pushing a little bit and back off, and it was just really, and as you said, it was John Huston directed, correct?
Yeah.
It's a terrific film, and it's a very different sort of gangster film for that era, I think.
Thank you for the donation. Projects Done Poorly, $5 for the bros. Thank you, sir.
Done Poorly, I love that.
You inadvertently put the earworm in my head, Aaron. Remember that song from the 80s? We had it all, just like Bogey and Bacall.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It is, man.
Down in Key Largo.
Yeah.
Bertie
Higgins. That's who sang that. Bertie Higgins.
Bertie Higgins. Yeah, Bertie Higgins was a good guy, but I had to ice him,
Hey, here's the poor man's Jimmy Buffett.
That's right.
Threw him in the back of my trunk.
All right, so there you go. That's mine. My third, I guess, right?
Okay. Good. All right, so
All right,
Andrew?
now I don't have to get rid of one. I'll just rearrange the order. Another one based on a real story, Donnie Brasco.
Oh yeah,
I love that undercover stuff. Just anything real story undercover. I love it. I thought Johnny Depp, he's going off the deep end now, getting a little crazy. But in 1997, I think he was still, just going like, I got to be this movie star. He definitely wasn't where he would get to be as a movie star. And, Al Pacino, and just the conflict after he was brought into that family, and then finally when it comes down to, okay, do your job, FBI agent. He was just conflicted about it, with the friendship that he made and stuff. And when Al Pacino leaves his family or the apartment for that last time and puts down like, what was it? Just some change and stuff from his pocket before he walked out.
Yeah, like his money clip and
his
things
money clip
he would take with him.
I don't know if he even. I can't remember if he took a ring off or not, like his wedding ring off.
I think he did.
Yeah, and it was just, once again, I love that true story stuff, and part of it too is, and I will admit, when I watch a true story, whether it's a gangster crime thing, or even I just started watching the Conjuring movies. Not to go on a tangent, but I like at the end of a true story where they show original photos.
Yes.
And they do the paragraph just to kind of wrap things up that they didn't get to in the movie. I love that stuff. So cool. So that's my third.
Projects Done Poorly, another $5. Thank you, sir. I had also mentioned I love the idea of shooting aliens with cowboy guns. Alien Alamo. Ooh, a shout out for Alien Alamo.
There you go.
I like that. Your project now. That's awesome.
If anybody's in the chat room and you haven't backed it, all the links to all our projects are in the description of this show. So click on those and support these cool guys. Okay. Where are we?
Drag a boom for number 3.
Yes.
Boom, boom, boom.
Well, it should be obvious. It's our professionals posters are based on this movie.
Oh yeah.
I wondered if somebody was going to pull this one.
Called Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
And Aaron was talking about the brilliance of Hitchcock with a movie like Rear Window. He also did Rope, which was like that one longer oneer, I thought that Reservoir Dogs, I saw it when it first came out, when it was doing the film circuits and stuff, and just being blown away by the dialogue, blown away by the intensity like, you know, the white knuckling of it all. And most of it takes place inside a warehouse. They're talking about stuff that went down. You get a little peek of it here and there, but like it's all performance and script based, and it's fantastic. And there are scenes that you can just quote on end. You know, the whole Like a Virgin scene, the I don't tip scene.
Yeah, I don't tip. That's a great scene.
You know, just the whole him learning the story, all of Quentin Tarantino's references to the Silver Surfer and the Thing. You know, you find it's like comic book nerd friendly. And again, it felt very real. It's very visceral. And of course, Stuck in the Middle with You as a song will never be the same. Every time I hear it, you know, somebody's going to get Van Gogh'd.
Yeah.
What actor was it that got Van Gogh? I'm trying to remember.
Well, Michael Madsen did the trick, but the
Right.
guy, the other actor, I don't remember him.
It wasn't
in anything
anybody.
else.
Okay.
No.
Oh, he's somebody, but I don't recall
Well,
him.
yeah,
in
I know.
anything else.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, amazing performance by that guy too. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, Reservoir Dogs.
Good choice. Good choice.
It's a good choice. Yeah.
Okay, so since originally I had Key Largo with Aaron, I'm going to go because there's no you can't do a gangster or crime film without mentioning the king of them all, James Cagney. So I'm going with Angels with Dirty Faces.
Yes, that was on my list too. That's a great.
This is a movie about two boys that grew up together, and they were, you know, rough side, east side of New York, and they're running from the cops. One of them gets caught, and one of them gets away. The one who gets away ends up becoming a priest. The one who gets caught becomes a gangster. So you got Pat O'Brien as the priest. Obviously, it's Pat O'Brien. And you've got Jimmy Cagney, who becomes the crook. But he's this personality, and the dead end kids are in this movie, and they start looking up to Rocky. That's Cagney's character, you know, and the priest Jerry is trying to get him to, you know, talk to the kids, make them go to the boys club, you know, get them back in school, all this stuff. Don't give them a life like you had, that type of thing. And he's reluctant to do so because he likes the adulation. And eventually he gets caught and he gets sentenced, and he's going to go to the electric chair. And Jerry comes to him and gives him one final plea, you know, to you know, give these kids something. And I'm not going to tell you the end here, but it's a aura performance by James Cagney as he takes that last walk to the electric chair. It's just unbelievable, the acting in there, and it's such a poignant scene, and it'll stay with you.
Yep.
Angels with Dirty Faces.
Yep, that is a great one, and it was on my list. Okay, so now we're actually getting into the extra credit round right here. So
Extra credit.
Yeah.
I still have a couple, but I'm going to use one that I just absolutely freaking love this movie, Midnight Run, with with De Niro and Charles Grodin.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, is there a funnier crime buddy movie ever made? Holy crap! It is. I mean, granted, if you're sensitive to 4-letter words, especially F-bombs, this may not be the movie for you, but it is so funny. It is so good. Just, and there's like this, it's a redemption story too, you know. It's like, it's not just, De Niro trying to bring Grodin in, you know, because he skipped bail, and the crime syndicate is after Grodin because he's an accountant to the mob, right? But there's this like redemption story going on for De Niro's character in it as well, you know, that sort of pays off at the end. And it's just, but the fact that it's so funny.
On the train when they get up after eating, and Grodin's like, "Is that all you're going to tip?" And he's busting his balls about how much he's going to tip. And then they're in a car chase, and I think there's the helicopter behind him, and doesn't De Niro say something like, "They're catching up," or something? Somebody in the car does, and Grodin's in the backseat. He's like, "Yeah, they're in a helicopter."
Well, there's a great scene where they're on the train, but they get off the train in that small town because they're out of money, right? And they go into that bar, and they go in to pretend they're both FBI agents, right, to get money. And Grodin's like, we're looking for a guy who it's been passing off, 20s that are counterfeits. So we'd like to check your till. And the guy goes, well, he goes, oh, no, but anyway, so Grodin says to him, he goes, Grodin goes, the guy goes, well, what do he look like? And he goes, he said a guy came in, earlier, and he said, yeah, tall guy. He goes, no, he's short. He goes, blonde. He goes, no, he had dark hair. And he goes, so he was wearing an overcoat. No, he had this jacket on. He goes, sounds like our man. And the guy gave the total opposite description of everything Grodin said, and then he just straight face, just sounds like our man. And then
I gotta watch that.
Guy's 20 and takes like half the 20s, and they go and jump on the train with the money. It's just one thing after another. There's a line in there where, Grodin is constantly, he's like, you don't know if he's lying or if it's the truth, but he's got fear of flying. He's got fear of this, fear of heights. And so, to try and keep De Niro from taking him on a plane and, trying to elongate the trip so he can figure out some way to get away. And I remember him just going, he said one time, he says, I've got acrophobia or something like that. And he just turns to him and goes, you can have fistophobia in a minute. Oh my gosh. It's just one thing after. It was just terrific.
That's great.
He was handcuffed in the front during that scene. I remember that scene. They were walking. He's handcuffed in the front. You're gonna have fistophobia. I gotta find that and watch that. That movie's just. I totally forgot about the $20 that scene with the counterfeit bills because he's just looking at him like, yeah, this is one. Oh man, this is one. I think that scene ends where he, like you said, he cleans the guy out, the cashier out. But I think doesn't he also say something at the end of that scene like, you got hit really hard or something like that because he cleaned him out so bad.
Well, no, he gave him back a few 20s. He'd go, this one's okay. This one's okay.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Bad. This one's bad. This one's okay. And then they saw him jumping on the train after they cleaned him out.
Okay.
So they knew that, they just got screwed. But oh my gosh. Just that's great. Scene after another in that movie.
Yeah, that was a good one. Okay, for my fourth one, it's another true story, and I think the supporting actor really stole it, of course, and you'll know it when I say it, is The Untouchables.
That was also on the list.
That was on my list.
Young Kevin Costner, fantastic Sean Connery, supporting actor, just stole it.
That's the Chicago way.
De Niro, the Chicago way. He brings up about the whole knife and gunfight stuff, and oh my God, that's one that I can still watch. I mean, there's a lot of them out there, and it's not a genre I usually lean towards, but the ones I've mentioned are ones that if they're on, I'll stop and I can just watch them over and over. And it was another one where it's like, I knew the story about Capone, but it's not like Capone is somebody you learn about in school. You know what I mean? So when you hear the story about it, you're like, hell, I would have paid attention in history class if they would have taught me about that cat. What the hell?
Yeah.
And then you watch the movie and you're like, damn.
What's interesting about that film is that it's packaged in a way to be like kind of a summer blockbuster. So it has kind of that sort of glossy Hollywood feel to it. And it has like this charming quality that really makes you want to watch it, but at the same time, there's some really brutal scenes in there, like when Sean Connery gets blasted, or the guy in the elevator, the short guy, the accountant, gets blown away in the elevator, and then Costner throws the dude off the roof, and things like that are just like, they're so incongruous with how the film presents itself as this, summer fun action film, but it's it may be De Palma's best film.
The other thing that I found out, because I watched it recently about, 6 months ago, that doesn't hold up is the soundtrack. It's very 80s. It has this very 80s beat to it, and even though it's a period piece, so I find that incongruous with what's going on in the film. So it jumps out at me. And so that's something.
I mean, and I didn't recall that, but if you're going to do a period piece, you need to have music that either relates to that right from the period, or definitely put you in that setting, but not, hey, I'm going to do 1980s music for this.
The synthesizer stuff, you know. That
Right.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's just to me fascinating how charming that film is and how enjoyable it is to watch, despite the fact that it's really an R-rated bloody crime film. It's just really interesting and how that all came together, because I do really like it. And I can watch it anytime.
Okay. Boom, boom.
Man, is this our last one?
Oh, I can do another round.
Yeah, because I have a couple that are really I have 3 competing in my head.
It's still early. Let's go.
Okay.
Yeah, we got time.
On the De Palma end, I use this word. I don't use it very liberally, but this particular movie, I adore Carlito's Way.
Ooh.
In a major way. Pacino, Sean Penn, Penelope Ann Miller, John Leguizamo. That movie, man, every time I'm like, make it to the train, make it to the, it's so good. And the editing's great. I like how they start at the end and, it's closing time, boys. Where are we going for breakfast? Like the Pacino's narration, Sean Penn and what a piece of shit he is.
Yeah.
What a great movie. I love Carlito's Way. I saw that in the theater probably 5 times. Like, it was so good. I was like, I got to see this again.
Who directed that? Do you remember?
I think it was De Palma.
Was it De Palma? Okay.
Let me look it up. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Let's see. Carlito's Way.
De Palma is so hit and miss for me. Sometimes he's really, really good, and other times he's like, "What are you thinking, man?"
Right. Sometimes he gets too caught up in his pastiches of the guys that influenced him.
Right. Like Body Double is a perfect example.
Body Double, yeah.
It's a good movie, but it's such a Rear Window ripoff that it's hard not to get by that.
It's definitely De Palma.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the one with Travolta where he was the sound man?
Blowout.
Blowout.
Blowout. Okay, I'm like, is that Get Shorty?
Or reimagining of the Gene Hackman film, The Conversation, right?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
So
okay. All right. Oh, you just mentioned Get Shorty.
Get Shorty's good.
I wasn't going to say that one, but damn it, I'm going to steal that one right now. I'll save that for the next one. The one I'm going to say right now is Heat.
Yes, Michael Mann.
I
was going to say that one.
The first time that De Niro and Pacino actually shared the screen, they were in Godfather 2, but they never shared the screen together.
Right.
In this movie, they actually sit down and have a face off. Yeah, in the restaurant. Yeah,
I went to that restaurant in Santa Monica. I've actually that restaurant's in Santa Monica. I've eaten there just because I knew they shot the scene there.
No kidding.
Oh yeah.
I bought the soundtrack to that movie. Just that soundtrack.
Yeah. So, Michael Mann does a great job directing. Awesome cast. It has an ending that you don't expect. It's just a tour de force of great acting too.
Yeah. That was one that I was going to bring up. I was like, well, if we go 5 rounds, but I still have another one. So
it's amazing how many films are popping into my head as we're talking. And I'm like, holy, look, what about that one? That was great.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Aaron.
What about it's you? Oh, that was you. Just did that, didn't you? Okay, that was you.
Yeah. I just did the Heat.
All right. Now this is a movie I wouldn't watch today, but as a teenager, I thought it was pretty saucy. Body Heat.
Yeah.
That's
great soundtrack, man. Quincy Jones.
Yeah, that's basically a remake of Double Indemnity with a lot more nudity and sex in it. But it's the plot in that film is masterful, and a really great early performance by William Hurt and Kathleen Turner. I think that was her first role, if not her first role, her first major role. And I remember that and maybe I was, when I saw it, I was 18 or 19, right, when it came out, but I did not see that ending coming. Maybe I'll be smart enough to figure it out now if I watched it. But that ending was that I was like, but That was written and directed by Lawrence Kasdan, who, of course, did the screenplay for The Raiders and
Empire Strikes Back.
Empire Strikes Back and a few other George Lucas films. And the interesting note about that film was George Lucas produced that film, but he didn't want his name on it because it was so raunchy. He didn't want his name associated with that kind of an R-rated film because he was pushing Star Wars and all that kind of stuff. And so he sort of produced it on the down low for his buddy Kasdan. And I'm sure the movie did really, really well at the box office. So I'm sure he wasn't disappointed with the results. But I thought that was kind of an interesting.
What's up, Lit Dev?
Literature Devil.
$10.
Thank you, sir. He's saying hey to everyone.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey.
live long and prosper. I saw the Frag Boom doing that.
Right.
There you go.
I was actually doing Nanu, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Bolton all the way.
So going around again, I was going to go with another true to life one with Warren Beatty once again, Bugsy.
Oh yeah.
The good old story of Bugsy Malone. If I remember correctly, that one ended pretty well too, with him sitting in his. I mean, this is from '91, so if you haven't seen it, too damn bad. Didn't it end with him sitting in his living room, getting the hell shot out of him as well? I want to say that's how Bugsy ended. Maybe I'm confusing it with something else. It is, right? He was sitting in his living room.
Yeah.
Oh, was it hotel?
I think he was in Vegas, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was in Vegas.
Yeah, so he'd be like in the hotel room, like
I thought he was.
Or was he in his house? I don't know.
I thought he was in his house, and there was. I could be picturing something totally different, but I'm pretty sure this was Warren Beatty, and it was double pane.
He says the guy in this chat says he was at his girlfriend's place.
Was his girlfriend's place, and then looking through double glass sliding doors, and then the shooter was up like a little higher and just blazed through it. And the back of the couch wasn't up against the glass; it was in front of it some, and he just got riddled. I thought that's how it ended. But anyhow, Bugsy,
Colossus says he was shot in the eye. I think that's right because I seem to remember his eye. Yeah.
So that.
And TJ James says he was in his girlfriend's living room.
Loving room,
baby. I made an editorial change, but
that's right.
Meow, chicka, wow,
wow. See, I did make it right. Or living room.
Yeah.
See, that's what good editors do.
I was picking it right from the memory. So
excellent. All right, boom.
My last two choices are crime movies because crimes happened, and these movies are kind of the consequences of crimes. I'm going to go with it's my favorite movie of all time. It's called Shawshank Redemption.
Oh yeah, and, Shawshank is just.
The man has been in prison for killing his wife, which he says he's innocent of, Andy Dufresne. Right. He befriends a bunch of other criminals inside of this prison, and of course, they commit crimes while inside that prison to get by. Some crimes are committed on them, as the sisters worked poor Andy Dufresne over, and of course, the warden was committing crimes with Andy through the books. And eventually, Andy commits the crime of escaping that jail and is redeemed of that Shawshank prison. And the guard, played by Clancy Brown, amazing performance by all. Of course, I love
Mr. Krabs was a guard.
Yeah, what the heck?
He was.
Yeah.
No, that's it.
Was in there.
It's weird watching him do Mr. Krabs. You go, oh my God, that's the guard.
Here's a question for you guys concerning that movie.
Yeah.
Did Tim Robbins really murder his wife? Or
I don't think he did.
You don't think he did?
Think so.
No, because when Billy says he was in prison and that his cellmate admitted to killing this golf pro's wife while she was banging some other guy, that this guy's confession, he knew way too much about the crime for it to be a fake confession. And Billy went and said, hell yeah, I'm willing to testify. And then that's why the warden had him capped out, because if Andy Dufresne got out into the real world, he could potentially give up the warden's crime of cooking the books. So he killed his only way out is through this testimony. So I believe Andy was. I'd like to believe he was innocent.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's hard if he's not. Then it's really hard to.
It's a shit movie if he's not.
Right, you're supposed to root for him, but if he really murdered his wife, you're kind of like, should I? I mean,
who didn't want that Raquel Welch poster? You know?
No, it was Rita Hayworth.
No, it started as Rita Hayworth, but when he goes, nothing but in here but da-da-da and sugar britches, and he throws the stone and it goes through. It's like the 10 million-year-old woman. What's the name of the?
Oh, 10 million BC.
Yeah, that's the
10
one.
million BC.
That's the poster. When he starts off with the Rita Hayworth. By the time he leaves, he's got the Raquel Welch poster.
Wait, so is that just a screw up in the movie, or was there
no? He just would get. He would get the reason behind it is the time that went by. Rita Hayworth was the movies they were getting in the beginning, where he said, "Hey, I need a rock hammer. You'll understand when you see it." He's like, "I'm not about to give you a hammer," you know. And he's like, "You'll understand when you see it." He used the poster to cover up the hole.
Yeah, to cover the hole. Right.
Yeah. Well, then he got a new poster as time went on. You know, because it took him years, and they go.
I never noticed that. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that scene.
Sugar britches. That's what the warden calls her, sugar britches.
That's a nice little time thing there.
Yeah, I love that movie. Big time. Love that movie.
All right, I'm gonna go with. I can't remember what year this film came out. It was probably the 1995, something like that. L.A. Confidential.
Oh, that's a good
movie.
Yes.
Oh my God.
That's a great movie.
A good movie.
Yeah. The first time I ever saw Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
In a film. James Cromwell plays this just son of a bitch police chief. And this is all based on the real LA police chief and what was going on in the 1950s. It's not a true story, but it's based on that. It's very violent. It's got some great twists. An awesome cast. Was it James McElroy who was the author of the book that it was based on?
That sounds right, because he got hot for a while because that movie got really big, and then everybody was talking about his.
Yeah, he did the Black Dahlia 2 or something like that. Yeah. So anyway, this is a great crime film. L.A. Confidential.
Who was the what was the name of the guy that was the police chief again?
James Cromwell.
Cromwell. Didn't this come out about the same time Babe did? Because I remember seeing Babe, and then I went and saw L.A. Coffee. You know, wow, you know, here's this nice farmer dude, and then he says this evil, you know, just
that'll do, you son of a bitch.
Whenever I see him, all I think of is All in the Family, because he was Archie Bunker's friend. What was his name? Slim.
Damn, I don't remember that. I watched all those.
Yeah, I can't. He had an Irish name too, like Slim O'Connor. I forget. I can't remember his name now. But that's where I remember him as his goofy, you know, buddy.
Watch.
Edith, man.
Archie.
Let me say something racist right now.
Kim.
That'll do, pig. That'll do. Fuck off.
Kim Basinger was in that movie too, and she
LA Confidential.
Best supporting actress, I believe, for that.
She looked
and
really
Danny DeVito was in it.
Oh, that's right. He was the tabloid guy.
Yeah.
Wait till you get the scoop.
Yeah.
He was awesome.
Yeah.
And who's the guy, the gay child molester that's kind of been out?
Kevin Spacey.
Spacey was in it. He was like a Hollywood cop, you know.
He has an incredible death scene. I mean, he dies with his eyes when Cromwell shoots him. I mean, what a great death scene. I mean, the guy was a really good actor. But, you know, just a horrible human being.
Yeah, well, can't have everything.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, geez. Okay, which just made me think of another movie, which I think is
There it is. Stretch Cunningham. That's the guy's name. Thank you, Man of War 665, Neighbor of the Beast.
Stretch Cunningham.
I rescue.
Stretch Cunningham.
That was Archie's buddy.
What a great name.
Oh my goodness.
James Cromwell's like 6'6".
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Yeah, he's a really tall guy.
So we got time for one more, yeah?
TJ James put in the comments "Murder by Death," which is a terrific little
It's a comedy, right?
comedy whodunit film with Columbo. What's his name? Yeah. No, that was a Cheap Detective. I apologize. The Murder by Death was who was the lead in that?
I think it was still him.
Was it?
Hold on, I'm on IMDb.
Like Carl Malden. That's Streets of San Francisco.
No. It was like, I think it was kind of like wasn't he a Hercule Poirot kind of rip-off thing?
It is Peter Falk.
Who was it?
Yeah, he is in it. It's based on a Neil Simon play.
Right. So, well, he was in The Cheap Detective too.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So yeah, it was Peter Falk. That's a hilarious movie. But that's not what I was going to say. Okay. I'm going to go with
two.
Okay, what's that movie that has the ensemble cast where Spacey's in it and he ends up?
I
Usual
was going to
Suspects.
go with that one.
I'm not going to. I'm passing. I just wanted to throw that out there as a terrific film, so you can take that one, Andy. I'm going to go with The Freshman.
I got something else.
I'm going with The Freshman with Marlon Brando reprising his role as Don Vito Corleone.
Man,
and,
Frank Oz.
Oh my gosh, that film is funny, and that is a.
I heard that Frank Oz and Brando didn't get along, and that Brando wouldn't even like directly talk to him.
That wasn't in that movie. That was a different movie. But yes, that is true. He called him. He called him Miss Piggy.
Yes.
And other things. But that was another crime movie that Brando was in. But that wasn't that one.
What is that one? It's for some reason that I thought that was The Freshman.
No, it's not The Freshman because I think Martin Brest did The Freshman, if I'm not mistaken. And
yeah, you're right. You're right. Like there's that scene on the bridge with him and Broderick.
Yeah,
and he's rotund.
Yeah, he's very big.
Yeah. He's Don Ito Corleone.
Yeah.
By then, he was Don Ito.
But don't you think it's kind of like interesting that they were? Do you think it's kind of interesting they could convince Brando, especially that late in his career, to do that movie? And he actually took it pretty. He looked like he took it fairly seriously too, you know. So it's interesting. Brando was a very weird cat, and
very weird cat.
But that I think was, and in fact, Paramount I think tried to shut that down for copyright infringement and all this stuff because he basically was doing, you know, reprising his role as Vito Corleone he didn't need the makeup this time though. But I really like that movie. I think it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess for my last one, going a comedy route with Robert Downey Jr. before he was Iron Man, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Yeah, Shane Black.
Shane Black. Yeah.
Yes.
Shane Black, Val Kilmer, Michelle Monaghan. It was just a fun movie.
Great script.
You know, Shane Black does great stuff anyhow, but
he sure does.
I never saw that movie. I remember it coming out, but I don't remember seeing it.
It's good.
He's like a gay guy, right? Isn't he gay?
Yeah, he's a gay thief. And it's, you know, it's kind of like a parody type movie. And he teams up with Val Kilmer, who is the cop or detective, whatever, private eye, whatever he is. I haven't seen it in years, but it just came to mind because Robert Downey Jr. just does such a great performance in that role. So,
I want to point out real quickly that the movie that you were talking about was The Score.
Yes, thank you.
Ed Norton and Brando were in that.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's 90s, right?
Excuse me 1 second, guys. Continue without me. I'll be right back.
All right, turn your mic off.
All right.
Boom, boom.
Boom, boom.
All right. I had a tie between mine. One was I felt a little more secret agent-y, so I'm not going to go with it. It was more secret agent espionage-y, so I'm tossing it out.
Throwing it out.
right.
Tossing it. It's gone.
Don't you
my last
want to
one.
see if there's going to be a red flag? I mean,
I will, but my last one is a better because
All right.
It's one of my favorite movies. I remember watching it as a kid and just being enthralled by it. It is a Henry Fonda 1957 classic called 12 Angry Men.
Mhm.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Yes.
they talk about a crime, and you get that sort of jury room understanding and this sort of idea. It's almost like Rashomon as far as like people's opinion of the same thing that happened and the evidence and the what ifs and the reasonable doubt and just masterful debates. And it takes place again, another one that just takes place in a room. Super compelling movie.
Lee J. Cobb was really good in that. That was like, he was like Henry Fonda's foil in that, and in the jury, right? He was absolutely not going to give in no matter what.
Oh yeah.
About his backstory, which makes us understand why he was so adamant to convict. And
Hi,
stuff.
girlfriend.
Terrific.
You want to say hi to the boys?
Well,
Hello, sweetie.
That's my girl. Mwah.
Hello.
You know, nights. Okay. You say bye-bye to those guys? Love you.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Oh, he does look like Dada. All these guys have no hair like Dad. She's pointing at you, Andy, and saying, Dada.
Surprising.
Yeah. We're all of the same alien race, baby. Dada right there too. Yeah, okay. I love you. Bye. Have good sleeps. Shit.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
There's Dad and Dad and Dad. What the hell is this?
Poor kid's gonna be scarred.
Yeah.
Think she's in the Matrix.
Yeah.
Just running out of the room screaming. She's gonna wake up tonight screaming from a nightmare.
There's dads everywhere.
Oh my gosh, that's good.
That's funny. So there we have it.
Now we got to get Crackers last.
Yeah. Crackers
Okay,
last
well,
one.
it wouldn't be a show if I didn't somehow bring a Western into it. And
All right.
I love heist films, so I'm going to pick The War Wagon. John Wayne and Kirk Douglas.
Yes.
I love that movie. Love that movie. Great action film. Basic plot is John Wayne gets released from prison. He was his ranch gets taken over while he's in prison by Bruce Cabot, and he's mined a shit ton of gold off of John Wayne's land. And so he gets out of jail and he wants to steal that gold back. And so he and Kirk Douglas, who were enemies, they both shot each other at one point, conspire to get the gold. But what's standing in their way is that he's built this thing called the War Wagon, and it's got a Gatling gun on top of this steel wagon. Yeah, right. And so they got to figure out a way to disable that and get the gold back. And there's this great scene where one of the henchmen is standing there, and he's chiding John Wayne, and John Wayne says, "That's my gun," and because he'd taken it from his ranch. He says, "This? Oh, you're mistaken. This is my daddy gave me this." And so the guy makes a move, and John Wayne grabs the gun, punches him in the face. The other guy comes at him. He takes that steel door, jams it into the face of the other guy. And then the sheriff showed up, and he says, "What's happening here?" And he says, "I'm just taking back what's mine." He says, "The gun is mine. The cartridges are his. You can tell him he can come get them anytime."
Nice.
I love that. He can come get them anytime.
Nice.
Before we take off, we would be remiss if we didn't mention, a little Star Trek, a little piece of the action.
Piece of the action, of course.
Right. It's a double fizz.
Hey, Jojo Krakow, what do you got?
That's right, Krakow.
Bela
Yeah, that
Oxmick.
means nothing to me.
That Bela
That means
Ox-
nothing to me.
You're not a Trek guy, Andy?
Not deep into it where stuff like that rings any bells. So,
All right.
Oh, yeah, man.
Kick him off the show.
Does there are four lights mean anything to you?
The what?
How long have you
There
been
are
out
4
of
lights.
Gulag?
Oh, not too long. Not too long. I get released,
Yeah.
No, I never, I've probably out of, what was there, the original Trek? 3 seasons total?
Yeah.
I've probably seen, how many episodes in each season?
30.
Or how many episodes total?
There's 92 episodes or something like that, isn't there? 87.
76 or 78, I think.
Yeah,
is it?
I've probably
Yeah.
seen 5. I've seen probably 5.
Get this guy off the show. How is he on the show?
You are not a professional. You are a poser.
Oh, please.
How could you work in comics and not have a Star Trek?
Oh, hey, Kirk, that's the book. No, I don't want to hear another crack about the book.
Yeah, I know it's a book. It's the book.
I've seen all the movies.
See, Aaron, I can go all night.
That's right.
I know.
We do our own little Star Trek live stream.
We did that in the back of cars in Germany.
What's that?
Oh,
I said we did that in the back of the car in Germany.
We did. That's right.
I would have to have Dennis fill in for me then. He's the big Trek guy out of the two of us. So
I found a
Out of our
picture. I just came across a picture, Graham, of you and I doing the store signing in one of the German, one of the towns we stopped in and did the store signing.
Yeah.
You still had hair. I looked exactly the same, but you had hair.
I did. I did. I got rid of mine after COVID because there was no barbershops open. I was tired of waiting. I said, screw it.
yeah, I was gonna say Graham had hair a year ago, so it's not like you have to go that far back.
Yeah.
I was like, who's that young guy sitting next to me? Oh, that must be Graham when he still had his hair. And the funny thing is, I look exactly the same, like old man Lopresti. It was like 5 years ago, and I still look exactly the same.
Well, not everybody.
That would have been a good gangster name, Old Man Lopresti.
Well, Lefty Lopresti will become old man Lopresti sooner than later, I'm sure.
It's true. It's
The
true.
bald-professional.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Well, see, Art and Billy, they screw it up. But when there's only the 4 of us, we should go bald professionals because,
That's right. The
four
bald
kids-
and beautiful.
The
It's a bald
shiny
leaf
screen.
road where no man has gone before.
It's The Shining.
Shit.
But it doesn't look like Art is going to make the show, which is ironic because it was supposed to be his show tonight, gang.
Oh, did he
I
bail
know.
out? You had to fill in for him?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It was his week. And he said he was having problems with his computer.
Wow, what a shock.
Yeah. Well, that's
I
on
know.
top of his internet,
Oh, my goodness. Well, okay,
Internet.
I'm ready to fill in next week when one of those guys dropped the ball. So I've already got stuff lined up.
But you would be after me normally, I think.
At this point, I don't know if it even matters, does it? It's like whoever is willing to do it.
I
Well,
thought I was after Art, but I can't remember. I mean, it doesn't matter. We can figure it out offline.
Well, I know Graham was the first one that did it.
Right.
Graham was the very first one who hosted. And then I think it was me after that. But it may have been me by default because everybody else was like, oh, I can't do it. I can't do it. And then I said, I'll do it. But you guys, I've got to tease a little bit here. I've got another game show worked up, and it's bigger and better than the last one.
No way.
I mean,
How?
if you want to do next week, we can tease it right now so everybody knows. I don't care. It doesn't bother me.
I don't want to take anybody's spot, but I am ready to go with the biggest game.
Nobody else is ready. I say we pass the baton to Lefty Lopresti.
All
We
right.
can go left. We can go game show again. That's fine with me.
Don't flake out and miss this one because it's going to be huge. You thought the movie one? This one, I'm telling
It's
you.
gonna be
Is
huge.
it another game? Are we doing a game show?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it's comic book stuff. It's as opposed to movie stuff. So
Oh,
we
shit.
can really embarrass Andy if he finishes last with comic book stuff.
I was
I'm
going
gonna
to
finish
now,
last. I'm gonna finish last
Now,
on that one.
When the comics,
I know
Yeah.
Aaron will probably do all original stuff. I was going to do a game show type thing, comic book stuff, but I was going to cheat a little because I have this card game that Courtney got as a gift, and I was going to pull that out for the questions and answers and stuff. So, which
Dude,
I can
if you
still
don't do
do
your-
when it's my turn.
if you don't do your own homework, you're not worthy to host. Okay,
Oh shit.
that's all I'm
Oh,
saying.
shut up.
Shots fired. man.
Oh,
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. No, if you want to test Marvel knowledge, I'll be okay. If you want to go DC knowledge, I have none.
Well, it's mostly I'm a Marvel guy, but there is
Yeah.
DC stuff in there because I wanted to be fair, to
Yeah.
both companies. But there's plenty of Marvel stuff for you to. I geared it for you younger people that it's not all like golden and silver age questions. It's,
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
because
you go golden age, I'm out.
If
Yeah,
it
and-
happened after 1990, I'm going to be in last place.
No,
Yeah.
Graham, there's a nice mix of material in this one.
All right.
is it going to be storyline questions or is it going to be creative team questions? Like,
I don't know
or
if we should get
all
into
of it?
detail
It's
yet.
everything.
Okay, good.
It's going to test your collective knowledge.
Yes.
It's going to test your artist's knowledge. It's going to test
Fun.
character knowledge. Oh, I'm telling you, I should do I might do a board game of this. It's so awesome.
Talk to Adam
You
Loftus.
know what
there
I
you go.
did one time? Well, we were in a diner at the Chicago Con many, many years ago when it was in Rosemont. I was with Bo Smith and about 10 other guys. And somebody challenged me to name the artist and inker of every cover of Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh,
I might be able to do that.
And I got up to 165.
Did you really?
holy
Wow.
shit.
Named every one of them. Yeah.
Holy shit, man.
Some of
I
those.
mean, were they showing pictures? Like,
No,
it's
no.
a serious question.
Nope.
Really? You were just rattling off. Issue 1 was
rattling
this,
off,
issue
yep.
2 was it? Wow.
Yep.
That's
I could
awesome.
look
And,
at it.
and I was able to describe the cover too.
Yeah, but 1 through 38 is Ditko, right? So
Oh,
you
yeah,
don't
that's
look there.
Yeah. That's easy. That's easy. It's when you start getting into later Romita when he would have other inkers inking covers, and then certainly by the time Ross Andrew came in,
Right.
yeah. And then you had Kane came in in the 190s though, right?
96-ish for the drug.
Yeah,
Oh,
attack.
90s. Okay,
Yeah.
90s, not 190s. The 90s.
yeah,
But
and he was in there through the low 100s, and then Romita came back.
Right. But
And
there
then-
was a
then
lot of even when Ross Andrew was doing the insides, there was a lot of Kane covers inked by Romita,
Right.
as well as Kane inked by
Giacoya,
Giacoya and others.
Esposito.
It's a little tricky in there.
Yeah.
So
By the way, Aaron, I don't know, Aaron, that Captain America by Alan Weiss that you really like, 164.
Yeah.
I was looking at it because I don't own it, but I just got one off eBay, black and white Canadian version off eBay. You see how many faces in the beginning of that book John Romita Sr. redrew?
Yeah, and you want to know the story behind that? He went in and redrew those because they didn't feel like that character at the beginning looked like Steve Rogers, but it wasn't Steve Rogers. And so he ended up redrawing them to look like Steve Rogers when the character wasn't even Steve Rogers. It was just some thug they had dressed up as Captain America so the werewolves could practice. And
Didn't the editor know that? I mean, why would it go across Romita's desk?
Well, he was art director, right? So maybe he just did it arbitrarily.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't look like Spider-Man. I got to fix that or whatever. I don't know.
Right.
But that was
you'd
the
still think that you'd still think at some point the editor, even if it went across Romita's desk, the editor would have got it and been like, "Dude, what did you do? It's not supposed to be him."
I know it's
who
crazy
knows?
because the Lee Weiss faces are so. I mean, I love Romita. Don't get me wrong, but the Lee Weiss stuff it's kind of Neil Adamsy. You know what I mean? It's there's just more to it, and he just like you'd slap in this simple Romita face over the top of this overly rendered figure and stuff, and you're like, dude, what are you doing? You know?
Well, and I didn't realize until I looked at it again that Alan inked it himself too.
Yeah, it's a great piece of. It's a great story for a single contained issue, and it's a great artwork throughout the entire issue. You know, and I think that's the only issue Weiss ever did. You know, because he wasn't really prolific. But man, that's a great issue. If you guys have not read that, or taken
what issue number is it?
164. Captain America 164.
First appearance of Nightshade.
I've got a black and white front version coming. So
it's got a Romita cover, and it's Englehart wrote it. So yeah, I love it.
Do you know who colored it?
That I don't know.
Jim Starlin.
Starlin colored it?
Yeah.
Wow. How about that?
That's cool.
Yeah. It's quickly becoming the single greatest issue of Captain America ever.
Yes,
That's
it's not
tough,
cheap
man.
either.
That's tough
'Cause I
because
was
Zach,
looking at
Zach
it on
and
eBay.
Burn, you know, Zach and Burn, man, those guys are hard
Yeah.
to top.
Yeah. And
Well, I mean,
they had good stories too. Like when Ramita was doing it in the 130s, the artwork is just so superb, but some of those stories were so woke for the day. You
Yeah.
know? They're just really a tough, polemics, but god dang those Ramita drawings, because he was inking himself too. It was
Oh
just
yeah,
killer.
it was so nice. Well, did you see the issue? It was shortly thereafter that Sabu Sema drew and John Romita Sr. and
Really?
Romita,
but John doesn't have credit. He doesn't have credit.
Oh.
It's,
do you remember what issue number that was?
I have it. I'll have to get back to you because it's
Yeah,
on
do
my
it.
spin rack at home. But
I
yeah,
may
I'll
have
let you
the
know.
issue. I just didn't know that was.
It's
Yeah.
gorgeous because you can look at it because you can tell Sal's art. Really doesn't
Yeah.
matter who inks them. You
Right.
can look at it and go, "Oh, that's Abu Sama." But I'm looking at it and it doesn't say who inked it, and I'm like, "Well, that's not Sal's inks." And you're just looking at it and you're going, "That's John Romita Sr.'s inks." You can tell by the faces, the wrinkles in the clothing, the kingpins in it.
Oh shit.
It's a great issue. And then just talking about Sal, he did an issue of Heroes for Hire that Krusty Bunkers inked, and Neil inked almost all of the Luke Cage figures over Sal.
Oh,
And that's really cool
That would be
too.
interesting. I like to see that. Too.
Oh, it's awesome because once again, you can see Sal's figure work, but it's Neil's inking.
Yeah.
And you know how Sal has that mouth shape he does when somebody's yelling.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Neil kept the mouth shape, but kneeled it up.
Kneeled it up.
Yeah, I
It's
want to know
awesome.
what issue that is too. Get that information to me.
Please, definitely.
Yeah, I gotta
Pop
look
that in
that
the
one up.
I will
You know-
actually be able to look it up when we're done here. So
For as great as
Put it in
Romita,
the chat.
Romita was, he did a couple things here and there as art director that kind of leaves you scratching your head. I was at Mike Plug's house back when he lived in Seattle. This was in the 90s, and he had still had ownership of that King Cole cover, with By This Axe I Rule, which I believe is King Cole number 11, where the axe is raised up, that big great cover, right? Well, he said originally that he had drawn it so that the axe encroached on the logo, right? Well, Romita was having none of that. So Romita, and this ticks me off. I have to admit, this ticks me off, and I can't understand how an artist would do this to another artist. But I guess if you're looking at stuff as commercial art and you don't really think about it, you do what you do. But instead of shooting a stat of that, right, and changing it, Romita took an X-Acto knife and cut out from the original art, cut out Cole's arm and bent it down so that the axe would not cover up the logo on the original. And I saw the original hanging, and Plug, I think, was still a little ticked about it. And I was like, I can't believe he did that. Why wouldn't you just shoot a stat of that and then fix it, right? Why would
Don't forget, at that time, the originals weren't returned to the artists.
Yeah, I know, but still, I couldn't see myself doing that to somebody else's art, especially a cool piece like that. You'd be like,
Certainly not today, but in Ramita's day, they used to use Hal Foster pages to mop up coffee. That's no lie. I mean, Joe Kubert told us that at King Features, they'd see coffee would get spilled, and they would take whatever art Hal Foster,
Can you imagine
Raymond, and mop up the coffee.
Do you know what this floor is worth? Give me that artwork.
I know, my gosh, I'd take it with the coffee stains on it right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, stains and all, man.
It's like Chuck Jones, them washing all the cells, all the Chuck Jones cartoons, wash those cells, we need to reuse them, and you're just wiping off all that artwork and just like,
because that acetate's so expensive.
Yeah, I know. That's the dumb thing about it. Like, how much would it cost to get new cells? Are you kidding me?
Right.
Oh,
cheap bastards.
I know. Well, probably part of that was inventory too. It's kind of like, where do we put all this stuff? Because they was so prolific. They made so many of those shorts and stuff back then that that was part of it. Where are we going to store all this crap? Just wash them off and reuse them.
Yeah, there was no resale market. That's why, guys like Forrest J. Ackerman and Bob Burns and stuff ended up with so many movie memorabilia, because the studios would get rid of that stuff eventually, because and people liked it and took it, and because it had no value. But
Right.
now it does, and now they hold on to everything.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
wonder how much of it is a mindset, because I remember, even when I was a kid, but again, I had grown up in the 70s, and so I was exposed to Wrightson and all these guys, and thinking there was great value to the artwork, right? So I saved all my stuff, even from when I was a little kid. I mean, I have stuff dating back to kindergarten. I just have drawers full of it. But I wonder if you actually did work during that period of time, Hal Foster, whatever, doing daily strips and things like that. It was like, what did they really think of what they were doing? That, there's a paycheck, throw it in the trash kind of thing. You would think that, especially stuff that good, you would look at it and go, I'm kind of proud of this. I'm going to keep this, but I guess that just wasn't the attitude at all.
No, in
I
fact,
don't know,
I think
though.
it was finally Max Gaines, or who really started doing that. He saved all the original art from all the EC comics.
Wow.
That's why Russ Cochran was able to print those books and shot right from the original artwork.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
that's right. Gaines was Gaines was a he was ahead of his time in many ways. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So it's at least he came in the 50s and was able to start changing that trend a little bit. But
Yeah.
You just look at some of the Mac Rayboy stuff, the Captain Marvel Jr. And I mean, does that stuff even exist anymore? I mean, and some of that stuff is so nice.
Yeah. I don't know if you never see it on the market.
No, I saw like 30 years ago. How old am I? Yeah, it was probably 30 years ago. I can't remember the art dealer that had it, but it was at San Diego, right? And so it was after they moved to the convention center, the big convention center, but they weren't using all of it yet.
That was 91.
Yeah, so it would have been early 90s.
Yeah.
Probably 93-ish when I was working on Sludge or whatever. That's probably about when it was. But I can't remember the art dealer, but he had a Reed Crandall Uncle Sam cover that I actually have the comic, right, from 1942 or whatever it was. It was number 25. And it has Uncle Sam kind of out in front marching, and there's all these there's soldiers on flanking on left.
Oh,
right.
yeah, I know the cover.
Go back in a triangle like that. And he's got his hand up and he's marching towards it. And it's Reed Crandall. It's beautiful. He had the original from that cover, and it was twice up, so it was really big. And I think even then he wanted, I can't remember if it was 10 or 20 grand for it. It might have been 20. No, maybe it was 10.
Wow, that's cheap.
Well, now it is, but back then, $10,000. Jeez, that's a lot.
But still, even then. But yeah, I mean, now I would
It might have
imagine
been 20. It might have been 20. I mean, like, how often does that stuff come up, right?
Yeah.
Never.
Jerry Robinson kept a bunch of his stuff, like some of those classic, like that classic Joker cover he did with the expressionistic Joker who's like looming over Batman and Robin with his 245s, and Batman and Robin are small and they're looking up. That original exists. That was in his collection.
God, it's
awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Crazy money.
I know that Richard over at Bedrock City Comics in Houston, he has the oldest existing Superman cover art. And I want to say it was from Action. I can't remember, but it was like maybe the first 10 issues, maybe the first 15 issues, but it's the oldest existing Superman cover art.
That's pretty amazing.
Wow.
And it's just like, you just look at that and go, you got to be kidding me, man. That's just unbelievable. I guess it's more unbelievable that any of that even survived,
Right.
True.
1940 or 41, and it made it all the way to this decade, it's crazy.
Well, you got to wonder, is like the first Justice League, Justice League #1, is that cover out there somewhere?
Yeah. Well, how much of the Kirby stuff was lost? Just
are you talking Golden Age or just in Silver Age as well? Because I would imagine there's probably a good amount of the Silver Age stuff, New God, stuff like that. Oh, then again, I don't know.
Well, I think in the 70s that stuff got saved by somebody, because by then collecting was sort of it was a much more
Oh yeah, that's crazy talk. That thing's got to be so expensive. That's whoever owns that.
Yeah, I know. That's over $1 million. It's got to be.
I was going to say easy.
So awesome.
Look at
Well,
that.
it's like Terry Austin, who has all the all his art that he's ever got back. He doesn't sell it. He's got the Death of Phoenix cover, and
He
know,
needs
that
to
Burn
open a
stuff.
museum, dude.
I know he's
Seriously.
sitting on a fortune. I just can't believe.
Or here's one: if Scott Dunbier ever sees this episode, do an IDW Terry Austin collection, because you would get like of those, those artist editions that they do.
Mm-hmm.
You could probably get a good 10, 20.
Yeah, but I don't
artist
think,
edition.
and I don't know this for a fact, but I thought when he was doing the Burn stuff, he reached out to Terry, and Terry didn't want to donate any of it. No, because I think I've got that Burn X-Men artist edition.
Yeah,
Isn't the
so
Death
do
of
I.
Phoenix cover in it? So
Yeah,
he must have donated some. I don't know. I was at Terry's house just once back in the early '90s, and it
Oh,
was like it
Really?
was like a museum. Yeah, it was like a museum. I mean, like every wall was filled up with artwork. I can remember above a door frame, because there's not much space above a door frame in the ceiling. It's like, oh, look, a daily strip, because that fits perfectly. It was
wow.
like a freaking museum.
Not, obviously, he collects other artists too, is what you're saying.
Oh yeah. But it's like
Incredible.
Simonson. Walt doesn't sell his stuff.
I know. Oh my gosh! If you ever get a chance to invade his home and check it out, it's amazing. Just going through his stuff.
I
Just
would go crazy.
Stacks and stacks and stacks.
I would
Tom
go
Palmer,
crazy.
too. You should see Tom Palmer's flat files. Now he's inked
Oh, really?
everybody,
Oh,
all
yeah.
the greats. I mean, I was looking through his flat files one time, and I saw Gil Kane covers inked by him, Buscema pages. I mean, oh my God, the
I want
stuff.
that Neil Adams stuff. I want to see the Avengers stuff.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
X-Men.
He,
I
was
I,
telling,
I saw a Doc Savage cover that was drawn by Kane and inked by Palmer, and I was just so angry. I wanted to.
Those are awesome. That whole series, only 7 issues or 8 issues, but man,
Yeah, I got that trade
is-
for sure.
this
Oh,
is
yeah.
the cover
There it is.
that I had. The guy had the original too.
Wow, you don't have that
Bananas.
graded, huh? Look at you, cheapo.
Uh,
He wants to be able to huff
He
it.
wants
man.
to open it up and smell it.
yeah, I
Oh,
did.
you're
when I
talking
bought
to a
it.
guy that has a lot of graded books, and I'm talking about Aaron. So he's not one of those guys that's like, I don't grade my books.
That
We
one
had a
I
whole
bought.
conversation about it.
There's always a risk you're going to send it in. It's going to come back way worse than you thought it
Oh,
was.
I
And
know they drop it.
I would rather argue that condition. If I ever wanted to trade that or sell it, I'd rather argue the condition with it, the buyer, than actually send it into CGC and have it come back and say, 4 or 5 when I thought it was a 7. You know what I mean? So
No, I hear you. It's funny. Damn it, you were mentioning something about Palmer. He's a hell of a guy. I only talked to him once because he inked one job over me. And it's funny because this was right when the first Captain America movie came out. So the job he inked was part of a Captain America story from the first movie. And I talked to him on the phone, and he doesn't pay attention to comics and guys and stuff. So he had no idea. And I didn't expect him to, who I was and stuff. And he's like, this was some of the funnest stuff I ever inked. You might have a shot in this business. And I'm like, hey, thanks, man. Already been in at that time, I think, for like 20 years. I appreciate that, Tom.
keep working, son. You might make it.
Yeah, but he was so gracious. He said he really had a fun time. So if he did, whatever, it was just nice. So
Yeah, that's cool.
it was
It is
nice getting
cool.
those originals back. So have some Tom Palmer originals. So it was fun.
I missed a few opportunities to get some Ramona Fraden stuff and some Gene Colan stuff back when it was still actually somewhat affordable. And
Oh, dude, I passed up. So I was talking to Monday night this week. We had John Beatty on my show. I do with Dennis. And I was talking to John, and a friend of his used to own a store in Orlando, and it was a comic shop, but he had a big artwork collection. And you'd walk into a shop, and he'd have Frank Robbins stuff on the wall, some Neil Adams, Batman stuff. And he had a portfolio you could look through. And he had an Animal Man piece that Gil Kane did for one of the Who's books in the 80s. Nice full figure of Animal Man. And then if you remember those, the background of those books they knocked out the line art to like a color, you know.
Two pieces
And he
of
had
art.
yeah, he had both pieces. I could have got it for $120.
Oh my gosh.
But it was 1991. I literally just broke into the business. That was more than my page rate. And I was like, oh, I wish I could afford this. And now I'm like, damn it. Ooh, that's nice.
That's Tom Palmer inking me.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a two-pager, right?
What's that from?
It's from it was a special project. It was done for the U.S. military
Oh, okay.
for their PXs, you know, sold on bases, and it was the Avengers versus these terrorists, some terrorist dude, and it was only sold there on the military bases.
Wow, that's
nice.
really cool. It's nice. It's nice when you get it. It's nice when you can get a piece of your work like inked by, you know, guys you grew up admiring or whatever. And
yeah, exactly.
like that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Did you get any comp copies of the actual book or no?
Yeah.
You did? So I was actually going to ask because I've seen some of those military books, but the ones I've seen say not for sale. So they're freebies. So that was actually for sale. Do you remember, or was it actually just no price?
I think it was for sale. Yeah. I think it was for sale.
Okay.
It wasn't a giveaway. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they sold stuff in the PXs and the BXs. Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I mean, he brought the pages in. We met in New York and went out and had lunch together too. And he took me to some watering hole that he liked down in it was the Lower West Side. It was a lot of fun. We had a good time.
Yeah, I met him at Baltimore a few years back. Him and Brett Breeding, I met together at Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
It might have been the last Baltimore, so it could have very well been 2019. But yeah, sweetheart of a guy, nice guy for sure. Well, did he ink some of your Batman stuff?
Yeah, in fact, I was the first work he ever inked at DC. When after he left Marvel.
Oh,
that's
wow.
how we met, actually. Yeah.
What is
That's
this
cool.
you just posted? The Len Wein estate sale. What is that?
I don't know. Can you elaborate, Leg Kick One?
Yeah, I don't know.
I suppose
after he
had some interesting stuff.
Yeah, he must have had some good stuff. As you know, wasn't he an editor in chief for about a week?
Yeah, he was.
Him and Marv.
Yeah.
Very short time.
Yeah, that must have been some crazy times. Holy cow.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
All right,
cool.
guys. What do you say we wrap it up? Next,
I gotta go unload that truck.
Next week.
That's right. Get me them cheap stereos so I can sell them.
Yeah.
I gotta trade the
I
suit
need
back
to the
into
guy
our
that has his
identities.
That's right.
I
Get
need
back.
a boombox.
Get rid of that body. Get rid of that body. Starting to stink
Thank
up
you
the place.
for tuning in and watching the professionals as we went gangsta here. So next week, who's oh, that's right, Aaron's going to host it next week. He says it's going to be a killer show. I
Killer
said
game show.
hold him to it.
Yep.
Because he's built it up.
That's right.
I deliver.
It's got to be better than the last one.
Hey, crackers!
hard
No,
to
I
beat.
deliver the goods. When have I ever let you down?
Well, Krakow, I don't know. And maybe Art will make it and Billy next time.
Yeah, maybe.
So-
You never. With those guys.
Yeah.
It's hard.
So everybody, check out the campaigns that are listed in the description, and please help support us. We really appreciate it. Appreciate you coming on the show, and we'll see you next week. Have a good one. Bye-bye.